Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We have three tools to show you today: Microsoft Planner, Microsoft Forms, and Microsoft Stream. I'm Brittany Tibbin, SharePoint Account Director, and we have Jared Edge, Director of SharePoint Services. If you haven't had the chance to yet, please fill out the quick form. You can find the URL on the screen. We will be using the results of this form on our webinar today, so if you could fill that out quickly, we would appreciate it. We have a lot to go through today, but if you have any questions at all, please enter them into the question feature and we'll answer these at the end of the webinar. We'll make sure to end the webinar right at 12:30, but we're always happy to stay around and answer additional questions. And now I'll let Jared go ahead and get started on our agenda.
So before I go to the agenda, and I'll give everybody a few minutes just to go ahead and look at that URL and go ahead and fill in the form if you can. But I'll just say that today's webinar has a lot packed into it, and we are really happy to be able to, as a partner for everyone here, to be able to just bring some of these webinars to you. It doesn't cost you a thing, but the feedback we've received from it is that these are super impactful, very, very helpful. They're stretching out your minds as to what you can do with SharePoint, what you can do with Office 365, and Power BI and all the pieces of Office 365. So we're really happy to be able to do this for you, and we're happy that you guys are attending. We have more for you coming up throughout the rest of this year. Throughout a year, we basically have 12 webinars. We may not have them generally every month, but I think there's one of the months where we're doubling up because of like vacations and things like that. But really, I mean, this is a pleasure for us, and we just want to make sure that you guys know that we appreciate you attending the webinars, and certainly continue to send us your feedback, and we will continue to do this as we move into the rest of the year and to the end of the year. So Brittany and I today are going to talk about three pieces of a puzzle, and three is a magic number. We don't know if you guys recognized. We're going to find out sooner or later how many of you know about Schoolhouse Rock. But we're going to talk about three things today, and that is Microsoft Planner, Microsoft Forms, and Microsoft Stream. And this is going to be a fun time. There's some features in here that you probably don't know about, and it's just really cool stuff. I mean, so we would have served this up as a training class for, like, you know, we'd have a training class on Forms, a training class on Planner, a training class on Streams. But to be honest, there's not enough in those features to like stretch it out to a day. And we thought a better way for us to give this to you is for free. Put it into a format where you guys can see a usage of it and get some use case scenarios in there and things like that. So our webinar today is very simple. We're going to go through Microsoft Planner features, and then we'll do a demo of that. Brittany will handle that for us. And then we're going to look at Microsoft Forms features. That's 10. And then we'll do a demo of Microsoft Forms. And then 15, we'll go through Microsoft Stream and look at some features there, and then do a nice demo of it as well. And then we'll kind of wrap it all up as we come back around and see how these pieces fit together inside the Office 365 environment, and just show you kind of some of the things that we did on the fly. And then maybe, again, stretch your mind out and see if there's some really cool things that you'd be able to do with it as well. So to kick it all off, we thought we'd start with Microsoft Planner. And Brittany's going to give us a demo of that, but I just look at some of these features that Microsoft Planner can do. And I know that you know, many of you use SharePoint as well, and there's been this whole discussion is, should I be doing projects inside of SharePoint? Should I be using like Microsoft Planner? Should I be using some other tool like Microsoft Project? How do I manage projects? And for years, what we've said is, if you're doing kind of repetitive projects where you have a lot of intense workflow inside of them, and you know, you have pre-assigned tasks to them and all these types of things, that you should be using SharePoint for that, because you can set up some really nice workflows, how to generate the projects, how to go through and make sure the tasks are already there, how to have workflows surrounding those tasks, and even workflow surrounding things that are just pieces of a puzzle inside of normal projects that you do. And we've always said that Microsoft Planner, you know, to the opposite of that, should really be used for smaller projects, impromptu things. And for a while, it maybe was that, because it didn't have some of the features that we thought it should have to appear more grown up or mature. But what Brittany's going to show us today is it has, you know, just been steamrolling down the hill. I mean, it's doing some things here, you know. So it has project task planning, it has task tracking, it has labels, charts, you know, to make things look good. It's a really nice drag and drop feature, which makes it friendly for end users and very easy to learn and use. It's got co-authoring, so multiple people can be in there at the same time working on stuff. There's mobile app for it. You know, there's Brittany's going to show us how to put things in buckets and view them by team member or by status and more, how to look at your specific task, you know. And then there's some features that they brought in recently that I appreciate, and that is, you know, over the last several months, notifications being there. Being able to copy a plan was a very important thing for us to be able to suggest this to a client. We needed to be able to have a plan there and then be able to copy that plan. And then you can also do things like export to Excel and such. But on each of these particular tools, what I've done is put a link to the community site for these so that you guys can stay in touch with what's coming out, what's old, or what they've been working on over the last couple of months and what they've just implemented. And then also how you can connect into user voice to try to vote or to tell them you want new features or vote up new features. But I've also noticed recently that they've come out with a way for, and I have to tell you, I did this, so you guys can thank me for this. I went and I had a talk with Bill Gates, and I said, user voice is just not doing it for me. I said, I don't like to have to vote on things that other people have out there and I only get my 10 votes or whatever it is. I said, what we need is you guys tell us what you're planning and then let us vote on whether we want you to do that or not. I think that's a better system. And I saw that like a couple of days ago sitting there, a link for that. So yeah, this was definitely me. I did it. So those are some things these links that I have in here for you are really good links. Go ahead and keep monitoring those and make those part of your arsenal as you're checking on functionality moving forward. And so with that, if you'll give me just a second here, I'm going to switch over to Brittany and let her share her screen out and give us some information about Planner.
All right, well, we're getting that set up. I did pick out a couple of my favorite new features that they have in here that I'll share as I'm getting my screen up. Their accessibility documents, their help feature is really built out now. It's actually really easy to use and has very detailed information on how to use everything. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to help. However, this is a really nice feature in there that you can use. They've also opened it up to mobile guests, meaning that you can have external users on your plans. That way, even clients or partners, anybody you're working with can be assigned tasks and get notifications on tasks that are due. Jared already mentioned this, but they've made the function of having multi-plans within a group and also the ability to copy plans. Another exciting feature is Planner is now government approved for Microsoft 365 government GCC and GCC High, so you can store that information in the cloud. And my favorite thing is that they've integrated it into Microsoft To-Dos to have the tasks right in Outlook. And the best part is it integrates right into Microsoft Teams. So if you're using Microsoft Teams, like I do all day, my planner is right in my Teams and I get notifications right in Teams. So again, it's another reason just not to leave Teams during the day. So, all right, are you able to see my screen, Jared?
Yep, we're good.
All right, we'll go ahead and get started then. So when you first bring up Planner, it starts with the Planner Hub. Before we get going on that, I want to show you how easy it is just to create a plan. So we'll go and make a sample plan here. Just click on New Plan, and we'll just make an example here. Let's call it Annual Report. You can make this public. Anybody in your organization can see it, or you can make it private. Only the members that you invite can see this plan. And I'll leave it at private and go ahead and invite Jared in it. Go ahead and create the plan. And Planner is something that Jared was saying they really improved the features this past year. I actually use Planner every day. We use our SharePoint project site that we've developed for internal projects, but I use Planner for all my side sales projects or any side projects that I'm in. So this is just an example one, but we'll go ahead and go through. So here's the annual report that we just made. And on here, I'll just show you a few things, but then I have one that's actually built out that you can see. Real quick, I'll show you how to create a new bucket. These are nice because it gives you an easy way to organize your tasks. I'll just call it sample here. And right under it, you just push the plus sign, and very easily you can enter in a task. Oh, I haven't invited Jared yet, sorry. We will go up to members. Up on the top right here, you can go to my members, and we'll bring up Jared. So now that Jared is actually a member in this plan, now I can go and assign tasks out to Jared. And you can see it's very easy to add one. Once it's added, you can go in and add more details to the task, but we'll look at that here in a moment. All right, so that's how very easily you can make a new plan. The next one down is called the Planner Hub. This is nice if you have multiple plans or multiple projects going on. This is a hub that has a roll-up of all of your projects. At the very top here, it's a reminder that you can use Planner on your phone. I do use this on my cell phone during the day. It's really easy to use on your touchscreen, and it's automatically responsive on there, and it's pretty slick. So we'll close out of that. At the very top here are your favorite plans. Once you're in there, you can see where you can add a star, and you can see them right here. And
I think that's a nice roll up of just things that are going on inside of that plan.
Yeah, it's really easy. I can see I have 2 late tasks in this example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and down below you can see all your recent plans, and then it goes over to all your plans here. All right, let's go ahead and go down to the next one. The next one down are my tasks. So this is a roll up of any task assigned to you for all of your projects. Down below you can actually see the projects, but this is a roll up for all my tasks that have been assigned especially just to me. So right away it gives you a nice view of what's late, what's coming up tomorrow, next week, and in the future. And we'll go through some of the options across the top here.
And I think while you're doing that, I think this is one of the cool things that integrates with the app Microsoft To Do, which is really nice because that app allows you kind of to see tasks that you have as personal, but then push them off to the next day. And this kind of gives you that same kind of functionality. Well, my task is late, but you know what? I'll just do that tomorrow so I can move it over into the next bucket and keep going.
Yeah, really. I mean, if this one's late, if I just click and drag it over, there you go. It's not late anymore. All right, some of the options across the top. Here you can add to your tasks into the Outlook calendar. That's one of those new features that I was talking about before. They also have filtering on the side. So I can see filter by when things are due, or I can also group them by plan, by progress, or right now you see the view for the due date. All right, let's go ahead and actually look at a sample plan that we had generated. This plan is what Jared and I kind of made up as an example to actually show the plans of the scenario that we're going to walk through with you today. So we're going to be creating a training hub. So these, for an example, would be some of the tasks that you might have for a project like that. Right away, you can see when you start it, it has the name at the top. Here's that star I was talking about to add it to your favorites. The board is what brings up right away. This board is nice because you can add tasks. Same feature, you can click and drag. Right from the task, you can mark it done, you can assign it, you can label it, anything like that that you want to do. The next one over are some nice charts. This is a good dashboard where you can see the status of a project. Right away, you can see what's late, different members. So here, for example, I can check on the team and see how many tasks that different members have and where they're at with it, see if we need to reassign anything. Schedule. This is a calendar that actually shows you upcoming project tasks. I like this feature a lot. I typically use the week view, but it's nice to see when everything is due. And it also, this is a nice reminder of any unscheduled tasks. If you put a task in and you don't assign a due date, it also shows up here so they don't go missing or anything. Some of the additional features, Jared, I'll let you kind of talk through these.
So some of these
top parts here.
Sorry, yeah, some of these are pretty cool. And you'll notice that a lot of these, when you click on them, but she's not gonna click on them right now because it'll take too much time, but when you click on them, they take you over to like an Outlook type of view. So it takes you over into Outlook basically, where you can see conversations that have gone on between team members. You can see members and add members from over there as well. You can see files. The files are actually stored behind the scenes in SharePoint. So anytime you generate a new plan, a new team, and all that kind of stuff, really SharePoint's the backing store for all documents in all Office 365 products these days. If it, like Yammer has just now converted over to that as well. So instead of documents being stored in Yammer, it's a SharePoint base, and they're really committed to doing that. That's something they announced at the conference. So files are stored in a backing store inside of SharePoint. And then you have the OneNote notebook that's a part of this as well. And then also sites. So that takes you to the SharePoint site so that you can actually do additional things inside of SharePoint. So theoretically, I could actually tie a planner to one of my SharePoint projects that I have as well, and really use both pieces of the puzzle. Although they wouldn't work, you know, exactly together, like the task list over inside of SharePoint doesn't fit into the task list here. However, you could maybe export your items from here into Excel and then import them, but that'd be a lot of trouble. You're probably not going to do that.
Thank you, Jared. Some of the other features on here, they gave you another location where you can remove it from your favorites or add to favorites. Here is the function I was talking about earlier about copying the plan. This is nice if you have any replicated projects that you want to easily have set up. You can export the plan to Excel, copy the link to the plan. This is nice for sharing it with users. Plan settings, this is just some different options that you have about the plan. You can leave the plan, that way if someone adds you as a member, but you are no longer on that project, you can delete it off of it.
And stop getting all those emails or notifications and such.
Once you leave the plan, they won't be able to assign any tasks to you any longer. And you can also add the plan right to your Outlook calendar, so that schedule view I showed you that I have up on the screen still, that can actually go right into your Outlook calendar so you can see what tasks are coming up. Next spot over are the members. This is what I showed you earlier when I added Jared to that sample project that I created. You can see who's on our team here for this project. And then of course they have the same filtering and the grouping by buckets as we talked about before. All right, let's go ahead and go back to the board. I wanted to show you some of the features of the task list here. All right, so right away you can see that you can, there's functionality right on your board here. As I mentioned, you can click and drag them in between buckets. You can also mark it as complete, and that one went away. And you can label it. If you have any different project statuses, you can see that color coded right here. So it's marked as priority, so you see it marked.
And how did you get those to say, you know, priority and roadblock? I mean, did Microsoft put those in there?
No, those are all customizable. I won't go change them now, but you can change those to whatever your project, whatever your team uses for those statuses.
Nice.
Yep. That is something nice about planners. You can really customize it to kind of what you and your team actually use. You can assign it out right from here without opening the task, copy the task, copy a link to the task. I can email Jared, remind him that he has something due if he hasn't listened to the other one, or you can delete the task right here. Once you open it up, you can see some additional functionality. So right away, I see who or which members this task belongs to, and I can quickly add anybody else. I can adjust the bucket that it's in, change the progress of it, and adjust the start date and the due date. Add a description in, that way you can have your task description. This is a nice feature that they have. You can see a checklist, so if there's steps within a task, for example, here we have 5 different ones. Once they're done, you can check them through, and once they're done, back here on the board, you can actually see, right, a quick view that there's 3 out of the 5 steps completed. So we can see a quick percentage on how quickly this task is about to be done. And right here, you can also adjust those off as well. Down below, you can add attachments. So if there's documents that you need to see with that task, it's easily right here for people. And I see Jared has added some comments in on here. So if your team is having conversations for it, it's right here, kept right with the task.
That's awesome functionality.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of functionality that's right out of the box for that. You know, I love being able to define my own buckets for a task on the fly, and I'm sure that everyone here can see how easy this would be to go ahead and set up a very quick project and do work. But then some of you might be thinking, well, okay, we do the same project over and over and over and over. And so, you know, like I said, recently in the last couple of months, they've added the feature to copy that plan, and I think that solves that problem as well. So this is, you know, on our list of 1 to 10 as to how mature you are in an application. We're putting it up in at 8 because we think there's still room for some improvement, but we like where they've reached, and we have no problem recommending this to our clients from here on out. All right, awesome. So I'm going to switch back over and become the presenter again. There we go. And while that's switching over, all right, so Planner, again, I gave you guys a link to that. Make sure you've bookmarked that link, follow that link, and keep up to date on the things that they're doing with Planner. So we hope you enjoyed that section. All right, so now let's talk about Microsoft Forms, okay? Microsoft Forms, I have to tell you the truth. I'm just going to be honest with everybody here right now. I ignored Microsoft Forms for quite a while because I thought, when I saw it the first day one when it came out, and I broke it on day one when it came out, and I thought, well, that's not worth looking at anymore, and I kind of just abandoned it for a while. And then like late last year, I started looking at it again, and I was like, oh my goodness, look at what's in here. This is insane. This is awesome. I love this app. And so I'm hooked on Microsoft Forms. You can do surveys, okay? But we're just going to call those forms, okay? Because honestly, a survey, you're just gathering information from someone, and that's just a form, right? And then you can do quizzes as well, and quizzes are slightly different because you have like what's the right answer, and you can weight the answers or assign value to the answers. You got 1 point for answering this right and 2 points for answering another one, and so forth. And I think that's really cool. You get analysis, results analysis from these forms, which I think is super awesome as well. Super easy to use. You can also share it with external anonymous users, and that is a bridge that we needed, okay? Because, I mean, yes, you could go into a SharePoint site collection, allow external users and allow anonymous links, and you could send a link out to something that they have in SharePoint, but a little clunky, and I'm not sure if that's the route you want to go with certain things. But truly, to be able to click on a link, fill out a form like everyone here just did, okay, and then have those results come back internal so that I can look at them and analyze those, I think that's huge. I think that's something that we've needed for a while, and Microsoft has provided that, and it's been here for some period of time. I like that they improved some of the functionality to add the themes and such to make it look nice. They've had branching in there for quite a while. And I like that the users get feedback when they complete the form as well, which is something I may not have been able to provide them with in SharePoint. I might have had to do a workflow that then sent a user an email saying, hey, thank you for completing this form. So you didn't get those types of things with the previous types of ways that we worked with inside of SharePoint. So this is very, very nice. There are some things that are in user voice right now that people are trying to vote up, like the fact that every form at the bottom has this thing that says, hey, this is built in Microsoft Forms. There's a big advertisement at the bottom, basically. People don't really like that, but hey, you know what? They built a nice app. They have the right to brand their own app. So, you know, I can't really argue with that. I think my users will be okay with that type of thing if they want to sell a little bit more in there. I can't fault them for that. So it integrates with Office 365 apps like Streams, or oh my gosh, I misspelled Streams. It is Stream, not Streams. Okay, it's so hard to say it without putting the S on it though. Stream, Flow, SharePoint, you can interact with all those things, and we're going to show you a couple of demos. There is a link in here again, you guys will get these slides, so make sure you connect into this blog, take a look at some of the things that they're coming out with, follow along with what they're doing and see all the improvements. So really nice stuff. Let me go ahead and jump into a demo. So here I am sitting at my portal.office.com or office.com. I call it my office.com dashboard, which shows me all the different things that I could get into. You'll also notice that if you have the current updates, when you click on this, you'll see create a forms survey or a forms quiz right from here. So that's very easy to do. Or you can just click on it and go to the forms section. And then if you guys don't know about this whole dashboard, please take a look at this next time you come to it. They add functionality to this all the time. It's good stuff. So I'm just going to jump over to forms. I have it open already. And so I could create a new form from here. So notice how we're not calling this survey. We're just calling it a form, but that's what a survey is. And then we have new quiz. So you can click on either one of them to do that. Brittany created some earlier. So these are ones that I've created. Brittany created some earlier and she shared those with me. So since she shared those with me, I see them over here. There's actually one more that I just need to refresh and see, but I'll get to it later. And so I have these ones that I've created: credential request, training request, and laptop feedback. And I think I'll show you the laptop feedback one just to kind of give us an idea of what can go inside of there. So I'm going to click here on it. Okay, and inside of it, I see some pretty cool things. So I have 2 responses that have come in from this, and this is Brittany filled out one earlier for me. So in our theme here, what we've done is we've sent out. We're about to purchase new laptops for the company. We're about to go through that whole period of time that we have to get rid of the old ones, add the new ones, and all that kind of stuff. And we're interested in what certain features people liked. You know, do you like the 13-inch instead of the 15-inch? You know, what's the favorite one there? Do you want the keypad option? Do you want touchscreen? And so very simple to do, right? So what I have in here though is I'm in the edit mode. So I have 7 questions here, okay? 7 questions. In those questions, so I can click here on the top portion and I can set up my header, if you will, put some information in there, explain what I'm doing to everybody. To add a new question, you just click plus sign here to add a new question, and you see that I have the option of doing choice questions, which is what I have a lot of, text questions, okay, ratings, which I have 2 of down there, and then some date questions. Okay, and then here, if you click the ... you also have ranking and some other items inside of here as well. You can also, in one of the newer features of this, you can create sections and then group your questions into sections. I think that is also awesome. So there's some really nice things here. If you are a user of like SurveyMonkey and some of those other third-party tools that are out there for surveys and such, they have a lot of features. They've been out there for a really long time. Microsoft is growing into all of that. But what I like to say is we have all the right things that we need right now. So it's good enough. Good enough survey is what I need. So inside of here, I'll go down to this question. I added to this question a actual subtitle to it. I did that by clicking on the ... here. And under there, I have make these options into drop downs. So if you're trying to conserve space on the page or something like that, you want to be drop downs instead of option buttons. That's possible to do. I added a subtitle by clicking here on subtitle and allowed me to type a little subtitle on it. I didn't do that for the other ones. And then also, if you're doing like a quiz, maybe you want to shuffle all the options around. Each question they get, the option, you know, each time someone gets it, their options, so they can't always just pick C. You know what I mean? So those are really cool things. You can make it required, and I can say that there could be multiple answers. So you notice these are radio buttons right now. If I click on multiple answers, then they turn into check boxes and someone can choose more than one. So I think that's really cool stuff. Okay. Each time you click on a question and ask if you want to add another question in line there. But I just went through and I added all the questions here. Down here, I use rankings or ratings, sorry. So I came in, added a question, and this little icon here means you can add a picture in there too if you want to make it look more fancy. So I could say, you know, how many stars do I want here? So you can do 1 through 10 or whatever it is. And then here, do you want stars or numbers for your ratings? So is it required or not? I made these 2 last questions not required. And then down at the bottom, I have the what department are you in? So the way I wired this up is, and this is just a text question. Let me just show you that. For text, you can have a long answer or a short answer. So do you want them to put a book in here, or do you want to just write a simple answer inside of there, like 255 characters? And then here you can add restrictions as well. So like if it was filling your email address, you could say that it has to look like an email address. So you get validation inside there. And I think that's really nice as well. Like I said, good enough features, right? So the way mine's going to flow is they're going to answer number 1. If they pick other, I'm going to take them directly to question number 7. So it's going to insert question number 7 here, but it will say 2. It won't be weird, you know. So it's going to skip them down to that question. How did you do that, Jared? I did that with branching. What? What's branching? So usually when people get to Microsoft Forms, they go through and they fill out all this top portion here, and they're like, well, I don't understand how to do the rest of it because it's not obvious. So here we have a preview. I'm not going to click on it yet. I'll go preview a different one. And I have themes. I'll show that later. Okay, and then I can share stuff. I'll show that later. But way over here in the corner is this ... which is just not sitting there obvious at all, but it does say more from settings. So if you click on that, this is where branching is. You click on branching. It takes you to the branching options, and now all your questions have these go-tos on them. So what I did is, if they answer 11, 13, or 15, it's just going to go to the next question, question 2. If they answer other, it's going to take them all the way down to question number 7 and ask them what their department is, because I want to go have a talk with them. And so down here, they fill in number 7, and then number 7 takes them to question number 2, which would bounce them back up here. So if they do 11, 13, or 15, it just goes straight to number 2. If they answer other, it takes them down to 7 and then back to 2. And I think that's pretty cool. So it's pretty straightforward. But what I had to do with number 6 down here also to make sure we didn't see number 7 at the end of the questioning was tell number 6 that after they've answered that, go to the end of form. And so boom, we created it. It's all awesome. That's branching. Really nice, easy. And if you said, oh my gosh, I messed all this up, I need to undo all this, do I have to go click every single one? Nope. There's a ... here, reset the whole form, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go back. Other things that are over here in settings, okay, that you'll find are nice. Who can fill out this form? Brittany, you chose what?
For the one I sent out to you guys, I did the top one. Anyone with the link can respond.
Yep, and so that's just anonymous, right? And then the other one, the option that I have for this is only people in my organization. And then I had some options on, do I want to record their name? Okay, or do I want to have one response per person? So it won't let me fill it out twice. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, down here, options for responses. So do you want to accept responses? So that's turn it on or turn it off, basically. Start date and end date, so it's only available between these certain times. Shuffle the questions on all of them. And then do you want to, I like the fact that we can have a message set up so that when they finish the questioning, it gives them this response that says thank you. So a thing that I found out about this is if you want to put, you can't put like HTML in there, which will be awesome because you could code a hyperlink in there if you wanted to. So you could send them to see some other information, other things that are out there that you want them to see. So right now you can't see that. That is out on user voice. You could probably vote that up. If you vote it up, then maybe we win that one. Who knows, right? And then down here, notifications. Do you want to send email recipients a receipt to the respondents? I think that's cool because now you're sending them. Here's all the responses that you had. Okay, so now you get a copy of that in an email. And then do you want to get email notifications for each response? I don't. I'm just going to come back and check it every once in a while. So those are options that are there. Pretty cool. The rest of it's just signing in, signing out, and getting feedback and things like that. So we did have 2 responses on this. I did one and Brittany did one. And just look at this nice little beautiful report that you get back with this. There were 2 responses. The average time to complete the whole thing was 30 seconds. It's still active, you know, very cool. Do you want to delete all the responses and start again? So you can, you know, you did a test run there. You want to get rid of everything and start again. Do you want to print this summary or do you want to create a summary link to it? So pretty cool. I can go in and view details about each one of these questions and see additional information. It looks like Brittany and I answered exactly the same for everything. And then down for the rating, yeah, we pretty much rated it exactly the same as well. So pretty cool stuff. So let's take a look at the one that that Brittany did, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, so we'll go over here. We'll go to Share It With Me. We'll click on this webinar survey. Okay, and this is the questions that she sent to all you guys that you had a chance to fill out before. And let's see how many there are. There's 10 responses sitting inside of here. So not everyone filled it out.
If you refresh, I have 20.
Oh, sorry. That's just Jared.
Looks like so not everyone had a chance to, but that is no problem. We have enough to go through today.
Yep. So you want to explain to them the responses? Oh yeah, there are 21. How about that?
Okay, awesome.
Beautiful chart. Beautiful chart.
All right, we'll go through. So it looks like right away we can tell that 5 people haven't seen this before. So if you haven't seen Schoolhouse Rock before, you need to check it out. It's fun, but.
And you may not have kids, or you may not have ever been a kid.
The next one down is which category do you use most often? We can see that grammar seemed to be the most popular. That's the one I remember from my childhood.
Mine was, I like multiplication.
Yeah, and then there's some that people didn't even know existed because you weren't using it in school. This is just kind of a fun trivia question I threw in there. What's the first Schoolhouse Rock video released? Looks like one person got this right. The correct answer is 3 is a magic number, and that's the theme of today's webinar. So that was the first one released. Next one is what year was the original air date? 6 people got this one correct. The first one was released in 1973. So it's kind of some fun trivia questions in there for you. Next one down, what's your favorite Schoolhouse Rock video? And these are nice because you can actually look in there. All of our responses are just anonymous, but you can actually see people's names there. And you can see, I see a lot of Conjunction Junction, I'm Just a Bill. Those two seem to be the most popular ones in there. Next one, guess Jared's favorite Schoolhouse Rock video. Looks like the most popular guess was software programming, and that actually, believe it or not, is not his favorite. He didn't even know that one existed, so we had to go check it out.
Mine is Ready or Not, here I come.
Yep, so
5, 10, 15, 20, right? 25, 30, 35, 40. Yeah, that's my one. That's how I learned how to count. I can't count by 1, but I can do it by 5s.
Next one is these two I just threw in for people to answer if they hadn't seen Schoolhouse Rock. And my favorite responses here is someone wrote Bill Nye on substitute days, because I definitely remember Bill Nye, the science guy from school as well.
Nice.
And then the last question was just what sounded most interesting, and all 5 of those people selected the American history one.
Nice. So, I mean, this is a very beautiful display of results, and you can view those results here. You can export them to Excel. Very, very nice. Brittany applied a theme to it by going over to themes, and oh, she didn't have all the themes that I have. I had a lot more themes than you do. So let me just jump over to another form real quick, just so everybody can see it. I don't know why I have more themes than you, so we'll have to figure out what that is. But in my themes, I have all these beautiful themes. Okay, and it's very easy just to click on one and have it behind there. So very, very nice. And then also there's a preview for each of these, so you can take a look at what your form looked like. In mine, I enabled multilingual. I didn't show you that setting, but it was in one of the settings. And Brittany made me do it actually. And so I have English version, and I can also go and do the Espanol version of it. And you'll see that it converted not everything, but there's my question that is now in Spanish, and all my other questions as you go down. This is in, so where it could find it and where it could do it. I can only imagine this is using Bing translation services in the background to do it, because it's a Microsoft tool. And so very, very cool stuff. You also know that this is mobile friendly. This is what it would look like in a mobile phone. So very, very nice. Very, very cool features. I just want to mention one more thing as I go forward. The quizzes. Okay, Brittany created a quiz for me. Just wanted to point out one thing inside of here, and quizzes are just slightly different. So the way you build them and everything is the same, but just the slight difference that you would get here is when you go in, you can weight them. So how many points does this question get? But also in the ... there's this little math function here where you go in, and when they click inside of that, they get the actual math, this tool here. Yep.
I wanted to add one more thing. If you want to, you can go back into the Schoolhouse Rock form that we looked at. I thought this is a really neat feature that is helpful in there. Both forms and quizzes have this functionality, but if you look into the responses, you can actually drill into reports in there. So you don't have to click into it, but if you go into one at the very top, they have an idea called ideas. This one was a very simple one, but it does give you some analytics in here, which is kind of nice. And if you close out of that, if you go into view results, you can actually look individually at respondents, and you can see how long it took them, what they answered, their test scores, all those things. So I do like the reports part of this app.
The people who took 8 minutes were going and Googling all these things as they're answering. So that is a very nice feature. Thank you, Brittany, for saying that. Okay, awesome. So Microsoft Forms, Very, very powerful. We're not finished with that. We're gonna talk about streams for a little while, and then I'm gonna roll back around and actually show you how forms fits into some of these other pieces of the puzzle. So very, very nice. Let's go back over to our slides. All right, Microsoft Forms, and now Stream. So Microsoft Stream, okay, without the S on the end. Microsoft Stream is, you could think of it as your corporate YouTube, your internal YouTube account. Very, very nice. Lots and lots of functionality. If you're reading through this, some of this functionality is already blowing your mind. You're thinking, wow, it can do that. That's awesome. So it's very easy to upload items to it, share your content with other people. Very easy to secure as well, to say who can see this video and who can't see this video. So very nice features there. Speech within the video is automatically transcribed. That is pretty cool, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So that that makes it really searchable, but it also makes it so that I can skip to the piece that I want in the video. I go down and find those words, and I say, oh, this is the part where he's talking about it, or search through it to find that word. Oh, this is where he's talking about it. Click on that and go straight to that part of the video. That is phenomenal. So now you're using it as a tool that's a help tool as well. Very cool. Facial detection inside of there, facial recognition, which is also nice. So it can, it does all those cool things. You can collaborate with the other pieces of Office 365, SharePoint, Teams, and Yammer. It has a trending video section, which you'll see when I open up to the home page. You can create channels inside of there, which is really nice, and then focus that content to certain users or groups. You can follow channels. You can make channels so that they're corporate channels, or they're channels that have to be tied down to a group. Like I said, easy upload. You can tag videos, which makes it nice and searchable. Easy to do permissions. Easy to like videos, so it's very social. I can like a video, and in that way I can see all things that I've liked in the past, and do all those nice little things that we do in Facebook and such. Easy to share videos. Meetings that are recorded inside of Teams. So if you spin up a Teams session, and Brittany and I we do this often, but if you spin up a Teams session and you just have a meeting inside of Teams, and then you record that meeting, that recording ends up as part of Stream, and it's tied to that team. So it also shows up inside of your team environment, inside of that channel that you were in inside of the Teams. So that's huge, because now you can start, when you do explanations of things, record it in Teams, and you start cataloging all this information, and it'll be inside of Streams, and you can then turn that and release it to others if they need that training as well. So this is very powerful. I mean, if you can wrap your head around some of the things you can do here, it's pretty powerful. And then you can add, yes, it says it, you can add Microsoft Forms to your videos. I know that you're sitting there, you're going, what? Yes, you can do that, and I have an example of that also. Really, really nice. I gave you 2 links for this because some of you are still using Office 365 Video, which is called Hub, and there's a feature breakdown if you're deciding whether you should switch or not. There's a feature breakdown for comparing Stream and Office 365 Video together, and it'll show you what's not coming to Office 365 Video. It'll show you what's coming in the future for Stream, and it'll show you what's going to end up in both and what's not going to end up in both. New accounts, so if you have a brand new Office 365 account, you shouldn't even have Office 365 Video, but if you have an older Office 365 account, you've had this in the past, you may have used it. So all those, they have the same functionality basically now, but Stream looks way, way better. The last link there is, again, the community. There's the what's new in Stream. Follow that as well. So those 2 things those 2 links are gonna help you out a lot. So let's take a look at it, because I really think this is super interesting stuff. All right, so I'm gonna go over here, and I have Stream open. And you'll notice that at the top here, it's just kind of giving me a scroll through of all the different types of things that are trending. And I really think this is cool, because you come back, and first of all, it looks good. But second of all, when you're looking at it, you're thinking, wow, I didn't know that was there. I didn't know that was there. And it's surfacing content that you should be able to see. So if you're a member of a channel, it's going to put those things up there for you so you can see it. And so you'll see in those slides there that there's some things that we recorded over in Teams to do that as well. Okay, so as I'm looking at this home page, I can invite more coworkers. That's you trying to get everybody involved in the process. And then down here, I see some trending videos. There's a feature for doing live streaming, and so this is me doing about a 1-second live stream here. Don't think you'll be able to go back and do that today at work unless your admin department has wired all of that up for you. So there's a lot of there's some setup that needs to happen for there. The IT team needs to do that. But these are some other videos that we have on side of here. And then I have some channels that I'm a member of as well, so it surfaced those for me. Right? And what I'd like to do is go in and take a look at a couple of the features that are inside of some of these videos. So I have a couple of videos I want to show you. One is a DFFS instance installation, which I did as a training session for some of our team members. And so the first thing you'll notice right away on the right-hand side there is that there's a transcript of everything that I said, which is totally cool. So I can go through and say, oh, yep, you know what? I did some stuff. I'm going to go down to 53 seconds or whatever. And you click on those buttons and it'll take you directly over to that place inside the video, which is really nice. So you see how I jumped straight over to this section, which is really cool. Let me just mute that in case. Okay, so that's really nice. You'll also, you can't see it very well, but I have two little lines in here where I have places that I can embed other things into. I'll show you that in a different example. But the transcript is really nice because it's searchable. Okay, the interactivity, I don't have any inside of this one. That is you adding forms from Microsoft Forms in there, surveys and things inside of it. I don't have them on this one, but I'll show you a different one. And then down here, you have details. This is just where I've tagged some things. So as the author of this video, the person that uploaded it, it gave me a chance to name it, say who could see it, and I made it for company-wide. I could tag it and put descriptions inside of there. Down here, a person who comes to watch the video could share it, add it to their watch list very easily. Boom, it's in my watch list. I can like it. Oh, I like that video, you know. And then here in the ... I can do other things like link it to a channel or add it to a group or channel. And then also upload some more video details if I wanted to. And then down here, you can download the original video if you're allowing that. As an admin for this, a person who has the rights to do this particular function, I can click here and I can hide the transcript if I don't want anybody to see it, and I can hide the people functionality, which I'll show you on another video. But I can also make it so that it shows in theater mode. Theater mode. Who doesn't want something in theater mode? You know what I mean? That's just super cool, right? So boom, it's the big widescreen deal. And this looks more like what your Office 365 videos look like. They had the big theater mode at the top of that one. So you can change that and pull it back down if you don't want it that way. And then a person can comment on it, leaving more notes and more searchability for it. So these are some really cool features that are inside of here. I really like all of this. That's really, really nice, but there's more. You know, I mean, if that wasn't enough for you thinking, gosh, all right, that's pretty cool, but I'd like some more. There's more, right? So let me go over to my homepage again. And I have another video.
Well, he's bringing that up. I've seen companies spend a lot of money for these features in here, especially the transcribing feature. So it's really nice that all that's included.
Yeah, they're forward thinking, and a lot of that goes towards accessibility as well. You know, web accessibility is very important for your organization and for all organizations, and so having that in there is just something that needs to be there, and they did that. So that's pretty cool. You'll notice that my watch list showed up because I added more than 2 things inside of there, so now they're available for me as well. So I have another video here, which was several of us talking inside of Teams. And we recorded our video. And you'll see that I have interactivity with this one, right? And so inside of it, I see it knows who was logged in when it created the video, and it recorded it inside of there. And so I see here, let me just use that. So I see inside of here that these are the people that were participating, and I can see when they were busy or talking, and I can skip to a piece that I want based upon that as well, which is really, really nice. You know, so that's pretty cool stuff that you can do. I really like that. In my timeline, you'll see these 2 dots, that dot and this dot over here. This one's filled in and this one's not, and you'll see the difference between that it means. So when it gets to this dot, it gives me the chance to open the laptop survey. But since I've already done it once, it doesn't stop by there. It says, I know you filled that out already. But when it gets to this second one, that circle without the filled in, it knew I had not filled out this quiz or survey. So it took me straight to it. Okay, this is the Microsoft Forms here. Okay, wait for that to load. And I'm going to be able to fill out this form right here. Not go anywhere, not send me out to a link and bring me back. I can fill it out right here. Title, I don't know, request. Down here, name, last name, Edge. First name, Jared. There you go. Department, IT. Okay, description, stuff. I couldn't think of anything. Okay, there's a date column there. Oh yeah, whatever. I need that last couple of weeks ago. Okay, and then I can submit that, and boom, that's being submitted over to Microsoft Forms, so that survey's done, and then I can continue to the video and keep watching the rest of my video. Oops, let me stay on that page, let it do its job. It's just cranky. There you go. So now that's done, I can continue and continue to watch the rest of the video. Oh my gosh, I don't know how huge you think that is, but that is big. So our goal here, our plan was inside of our planner that Brittany showed us earlier, was we're creating a whole site for video training, right? And so now I have a whole bunch of options that I could do. I can embed these forms right here inside of this. So I have a training video, you watch 15 minutes, that's the first subject, and then boom, it pauses and gives you a quiz to take on that first 15 minutes of the video. Then you click go and it keeps going. If you leave here and come back, it knows what you've done and what you haven't done. I'm just gonna be silent for just a second and just say, wow, that is awesome. So that's huge and that's powerful. So what else could I do here? So that's what Streams is. That's really what it does for you. There's some good functionality inside of there, right? You like it, I liked it. But maybe I want to integrate some of that with SharePoint, right? So I'm over here on my SharePoint site. I have a training site. And in the SharePoint site, I have other widgets as well. But I have this bottom portion where I have all my videos from Stream there. You must be thinking, well, did you have to get the embed code for each one of those? You can get the embed code for each one of those and put them on a page if you want to. Or you could simply edit this page. Okay, and this might take a second, so bear with me. Okay, you can edit this page, and there's a widget or a web part already in place for Stream. So once this finishes there, I'll just click on that. And then it's all the way down at the bottom. Wait for it. There we go. All the way down at the bottom, and it's just called Stream. And so if you click on that, it then takes you to the properties for that, and you can basically say, hey, I want this whole channel, or I want these specific videos, and it's really, really nice, and it's absolutely simple to add on there. So that's me adding streams directly into here. And again, if it's a training site, I could have those Microsoft Forms connected to it so they can take quizzes after it. Another solution that we came up with, which I don't have an example of, and it may take a little bit too long to build it, we're running out of time, but I could just create a page, embed the video in its big form at the top, and then embed the quizzes for that, or the test for that, or the survey for that at the bottom of the page in from Microsoft Forms. And just, they go to a page, they look at the video, at the bottom, they fill in the information they need to do from Microsoft Forms. Wow, I mean, that's two good scenarios that are just right out of the box there. No custom development or anything like that for that. Beautiful, you gotta like it, okay? So I wanted to mention that Brittany set up those, we set up some Microsoft Forms, and I'm just going to go backtrack just a little bit. So what I wanted to do is integrate that with SharePoint also. So I have a list over here called feedback list, okay, that's from our laptop survey that we were sending out. And it's just a place where I want to have that data end up. Well, what do you mean, Jared? But you're filling it out in Microsoft Forms. I mean, how am I going to get that over to SharePoint? That's just impossible, isn't it?
I know we said we'd talk about questions at the end, but this is perfect. I love this question. They were asking, how can I see live updated data on these forms?
And if I wasn't about to answer that question, I would answer that question, right? So I've got that form where people fill it out. What I have over here is I have a Microsoft Flow for that. So basically in Microsoft Flow, Forms there's tons of ways to integrate forms into it. The very first one that they show you, if you just look up forms inside of here for templates, is record form responses in SharePoint. So it can have it grab those items out of the form, put those into SharePoint for me, and that's what I did. So I have a flow, and since you guys are actually asking the question, I will actually go in and click on that and show you the answer. Okay, and so if it goes a little bit faster, I'll show you. There's my laptop feedback responses. I'll just click on that and show you. It's simple. When I created the template had everything that I already needed inside of it. So there was really not much for me to actually do inside of here. It was already set up, and you see that it's run a couple of times already. and it's successfully ran. So here's the actual flow, just so you have it in the recording if you guys watch it again. There was only 2 real steps to it, but the second step has more. So it's which form. So it wanted me to tell it which form. And then inside of this, for each, you have to tell it which form again when you do the get response details, which is, if you think about it enough, you'll understand why it does that. It's nothing crazy. And then we're doing a create item inside of SharePoint. And then I'm tying all those items because they're all right here. Those all the form answers, all the fields that I created, and I just mapped them into a SharePoint list that I have. What SharePoint list, Jared? Great question, Brittany. Okay, over here, I have this list set up called laptop feedback, and I'm just bringing those results right into here, okay? And then, because I like to push the envelope, and because we had like a couple minutes left inside of here, I decided, you don't really want to come into this list and look at that, right? You kind of want to just look at a dashboard or something like that, right? And so I added a report into using my Power BI. Okay, I mapped to that SharePoint list to grab all that data. What, Jared, Power BI is not in this session. Why are you talking about it? Because all of this stuff integrates together. How could I not talk about Power BI, right? I mean, this is what it's all about. All these pieces of the puzzle coming together and working together. And so I have that set up so that it goes out, it just reads the results, and depending on what your level of Power BI, you can have it refresh if you want to as well. And so you can set up refresh times for it. Mine is set up to refresh every day. And so that report will show up here in just a second. We're low on bandwidth here, but it'll look just like this other report you just saw. It's coming. It's coming there. So while that's popping up, Brittany, do you have any other things about Stream that you want to share?
Not specifically about Stream. I did want to reiterate what you said about all these tools linking together. It's just, it goes with Microsoft's whole tool belt. Everything in there it very easily goes together between SharePoint, Teams, Power BI, Flow, Stream. And it's really nice because, I mean, our developers do incredible things in here, but you do not have to be a developer at all to learn the functionality in here. Microsoft has done a really nice job this past year at making it really end user friendly.
Yeah, and I think that's their job. That's what they're trying to do. And sometimes it seems like some of the things they do, it's crazy. They didn't ask us first, which they really probably should, But it's because they're on a mission. They have a clear path internally that they know about that we don't always actually see. And part of that is to get this to all be cohesive. All the parts that we just talked about also show up in Microsoft Teams, so you can have all that in there as well. I mean, it's just really, really great functionality, all brought together and pieced together and made to look nice. So, we've done a lot of demos here today, and we hope that what we're showing you is that this is easy enough for you really to grasp, to catch hold of, and to make sense of, and to really just look up in a few places. You don't have to Google these. It's so easy, right? You can just go take a look at it. You can Bing them if you want to, but don't Google them because it's Microsoft stuff. So, we've talked to you today about Planner, Forms, and Streams. And hopefully what we've been able to do is tie it together so that it's somewhat cohesive for you on how these would be used together. We used Planner to plan out our whole process of what we were going to do to go through and build this new site that had training and videos and all this kind of stuff in it. And then we used Forms to create some external forms and some internal forms that our users could fill out, even requesting training and such. Okay, and then we used Microsoft Stream to kind of tie together and show videos and have that internal security that we're looking for instead of storing them out on YouTube. I don't have anything against YouTube because it's still free, right? But I mean, internally though, if I want to lock some things down and I don't want it to be seen by anybody, this is awesome stuff. And you're paying for it already. If you have Office 365, you may as well use it.
And actually with YouTube, they are making you pay for a lot of that functionality.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you have to pay for there you go. Brittany's a YouTuber, so she knows that.
No, I'm not. All right, we actually have some really good questions. Jared, do you mind going ahead one more slide? Let's go ahead and do our last slide and talk about that just to kind of wrap up. But if you have a few more minutes, stick around because we have really good questions in here. All right, so All right, so like I said before, I'm Brittany Tibbin. If you have any questions at all about SharePoint, any of the Office 365 tools, please reach out. I'm always happy to share any information, jump on a call with you. Just let me know what questions you have. You will be receiving a link to this video. I believe here today. We'll send that out to you guys, and then I'll also try sending out the slides and some more information for you. Like Jared said before, we do have these webinars every month, so be on the lookout for upcoming webinars. And I also included, if you are interested in learning anything more about Microsoft Flow, we do have a class for that coming up August 22nd. You can go ahead and register at this link. If you email me, I can also try getting you a good discount on it. So just reach out if you want to know anything more about any of these tools. That's all I had to wrap up. Jared, did you have anything else, or should we jump into questions?
There's a question which is saying the dynamic Excel sheet that can be set up to update.
Oh, I have that information.
Okay. So Brittany has that information. Awesome. All right. So another one was, can you show me again how you have reports built on the left side of your SharePoint group?
That's a new question that just came in.
We use Power BI. Are you talking about my Power BI reports?
Can you show me again how you have reports on the left side of the SharePoint group? Yeah, so what that is Jared made a new page called Reports and put that link in the navigation. On that page, he put on the Power BI report.
Yes, so I created a Power BI report using Power BI. This is Power BI desktop. I went and connected to a SharePoint list as my data source. I formatted the report, got it all ready to go. I published that to Power BI, so it's in the cloud. And then from there, you can edit a page in SharePoint, and you can add a widget here for Power BI. Let me see if I can get it to, there we go. Wait for it. So you could just embed the code, but it's easier just to go down and use the Power BI widget here. There you go, Power BI widget, put that on your page, and then you have to just fill in the options like where's the report located, that kind of stuff. And then it shows up on your page. So pretty simple. Even if you're using Power BI Report Server, that is the on-prem version of Power BI. You can also embed those reports onto into your environment as well.
All right, I had a couple questions just more about admin side of this. So people were asking about the webinar that we were referencing. We did have a link at the beginning. No worries if you missed it. It was just a fun little survey about Jared's favorite video and some random trivia facts. I had some people ask for me to send that to them just so they could see it. That's no problem. Just let me know if you want it. And yes, you'll be receiving the webinar and the PowerPoint after this. We also had a few comments while you were talking about the stream. People seem to love that. We have amazing, this stuff is usually so expensive, some great feedback there. More about that Excel document. I said before, basically what they're doing is they use forms, and these forms are external for them, and it takes months to get these results. So they want those updates live. And Jared did give one way or two ways you could do it. One is in a SharePoint list, two is with Power BI. She also asked in here, so if you have a dynamic Excel sheet that can be set up using Flow. So could you also integrate this just right into an Excel document?
Yes, you can. Flow integrates kind of on top of Excel. Yep, great question.
Yep. We also had a question about external users for forms. He was asking about if you had any feedback about external users for using Chrome and Firefox versus Edge, because he said some external users seem to have issues with it in Chrome and Firefox.
So we have not had any issues with forms in any of the browsers.
In Chrome, so
right, we haven't had a problem with any of those. Although you probably want to steer them away from IE, but because IE is just no longer going to be supported at some point in time. You know, it's they're not I don't see them putting any effort into IE anymore to make things work. You would think that the SharePoint team or the Forms team or all these would ensure that it worked in something that said Microsoft, but I don't know that that's their priority anymore, because they aren't trying to put any more effort in there. So be careful about that.
And hopefully we answered your question. I'm not sure about any more details on it. If we didn't, just email me and we can maybe provide more information for you. I believe those are, just making sure. Yep, I think we have completed our questions. All right, thank you everyone for joining today. You will be receiving an email from me shortly, and as always, reach out with any questions. Thank you and have a great day.